An interesting session today. You know, all of you know I do sessions every day. Sometimes they give me Saturdays off. Sometimes not. But today I realized that there's such a fundamental misperception that goes along with what we call the awakening work, the shifts in consciousness that we understand can create new possibilities for ourselves and for the world. The error is that the wounded one, we do, and I'm going to explain all this, so just bear with me a minute. The wounded one, the identity that you have, I'm not good enough or I don't matter, that one will never wake up. That one is not who you are. It is an experience that you had out of which you created a conclusion about yourself. And now we get to the kind of woo-woo part. That conclusion creates a screen through which you perceive reality. And as viewed, so appears. This is our participation in how our reality shows up. So there are a couple of layers to this. And I know it can sound confusing. I'm willing to answer any questions about this because I think the exploration may be the most important one that especially this Sangha has gotten to, this Sangha here in the room. The reason is because there gets to be a certain point in doing the inner child work, which is what the early wounding conclusions that got installed, that's where we're working, because that's where they get installed, is in the experience of I'm not good enough, or I don't matter, or nobody loves me, right? Those are upon incarnation and moving into experience of a 3D reality. In the dynamic of relationship, we conclude things about ourselves. That's what creates the distortion lens through which we then experience and create an apparent external reality. As viewed through that distortion lens, I don't matter, I'm not lovable, so appears the world where they didn't call me back. She didn't do what she said she was going to do. And nobody paid any attention to me when I showed up in my new outfit or whatever. So the lens is there from that earliest childhood experience, conclusion. Now, the radical understanding is that that version of you is not going to wake up to your true nature. That version of you is a person. It's a person with limitation and sees the world as limited, sees its experiences as depending upon external conditions and other people and circumstances. And that's the game that gets played and has been played in this reality, just to add a little woo-woo factor, since the fall, since the Garden of Eden, right? Since when we metaphorically and not so metaphorically got kicked out of the garden and into creating our living by the sweat of the brow, right? Disconnected from our good, disconnected from what we would have called God. And so the one that's going to wake up is the truth of who you are as you disidentify with the creation of the incarnating conclusion. Am I making sense to everybody?
That's perfect.
You know, I can't see your faces.
You're doing great.
I need to have big wavy.
We're waving.
Good.
You're right on track.
Oh, good. Yeah. So all of us have had a lot. The reason that we do the childhood wounding work, the reason we do that is because when that's cleared, you already are awake and you experience it that way, right? To the degree that we still identify with, I'm not good enough, I don't matter, I'll never have what I want, then we are a person trying to be spiritual, trying to be awake, right? The person can't be awake. It's a mutually exclusive pointer, right? If you're a person, if you're a me, then you were created out of an unavoidable but mistaken perception that you're not good enough. That created the me. And that me has been, you've been believing that's who you were and believing all of the limitations that come with that because of the power that we have as appears, what? As viewed. So appears. Yeah, so we understand all of this, but the wake-up call today is stop trying to wake up the wounded child.
That's so.
You are already awake, so we will continue the work of dispelling by seeing the error of the conclusion of the wounded child, but know ourselves more and more as the seer of that, as the awake awareness in which everything arises, right? And we are living, expressing, enjoying this 3D reality through a body-mind unit that we chose. It's our vehicle. It's like we went down to the BMW store and got all the booklets and said, oh, this version will work for me, right? This 19, no, this, I'm so far behind, right? Not 19, this 2012 BMW convertible, that's my vehicle. There was something like that that went on upon this incarnation. But what happened was because of the frequency of this 3D reality, we landed here and we looked around and we thought, oh my God, they don't love me. Right? And then it's game on at that point. So that's the message for the day is the good news that you're already awake, and the maybe not so good news that you can't work at getting to be awake, because none of the work we'll do. The reason we do the work, as I said before, at the level of the childhood wound is to start to dispel that mistaken identity. We're sort of peeling away those layers of limitation and self-rejection. Yeah, so the good news is you're already awake. The bad news is that you're never going to wake up if you still identify as being a person. That one will never wake up.
So Polly,
Yes, dear.
could you weave in your discussion on fear and how that drives us? I was on a call with Robin and Polly on Tuesday morning, and it was one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had in terms of really getting how we are run by fear and how it stops us from feeling how awake we are.
Right.
You know, it was just powerful. So please, if anytime they do a call, the two of them together are magic.
Is that recorded?
And
Can you still buy it?
and they're doing a nine-week class coming up too. Yeah. When does that start, Robin?
May 9th.
May 9th.
Yes, so fundamentally, if I continue to use metaphorically the Garden of Eden story as a setting, what happened is that the minute that we being the incarnating beings, we had the experience of no longer being connected, right? Being connected to God, to the garden, to reality. And then that's when the fear factor came in. And then with the curse of separation, the curse of the misidentification, we are now caught in fear. And so that is the fundamental, as it says in the Course in Miracles, the distinction is not love and hate, it's love and fear. When there is the love of the one I am, which is every one of us have that exact same true nature expressed uniquely through our human design. When we have that experience of separation, then we're caught in fear, and that frequency is what creates difficulty, whether it's with money or relationship, or with our work, our contribution, the whole diminishing of being a fear-based being, then we are like, our attention particles are no longer true north here on behalf of a beautiful creation that we feel connected to and one with each other and the larger reality. That leaves us with defensiveness. That leaves us with the need to protect ourselves, the need to know something in order to not be fooled again, right? The falling away in the garden, and I know more that this is not what we talked about, but I can't reclaim anything. Thank God this recording, or maybe not. No, but the way in which this impacts us is that fear keeps us energetically, and the body takes the hit of this. It's the cortisol factor. It's the what's another one? Cortisol, what?
Adrenaline.
The adrenaline, yeah.
Dopamine,
All of,
yeah.
yeah. Well, the dopamine's the good one, right? It's like,
But you get addicted to.
that's right. Yeah, so we are caught in an illusion, and the body does take the hit. And so the ability to come home to ourselves is to know that the one I am is the one that is present, connected to everything. There's no judgment, self-judgment, or judgment of others. And so we don't feel separateness. We don't experience other. We experience connection and presence and love, actually.
That's why the Course in Miracles says that love is letting go of fear.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so the love is already there. I already am awake, and there's some. So the process of waking up is a matter of letting go of everything that's not the truth of who you are, and you'll run up against those things by being triggered, and you can see it, you can recognize it, but remember that the one who's seeing it, that's recognizing, is awareness. And that's who you are, and that this blip on the screen or this concern about a body condition, that's a part of the avatar. That's a part of the identification with the body mind. This is what we have. It's not who we are. And so we become freer and freer in the frequency of love that is our true nature. And that's what changes first our reality, and then the larger reality. So it's I do know that we get caught up in the idea of continuing to work on our childhood wounds, and there's great efficacy, there's great value in that, for sure. But we have to be able to see it for what it is, and that is that it's in order we work on it in order for it to be dispelled, in order for it to be forgiven, for it to be let go of. And because as all of that's let go of, then presence is here. All of our attention is back with us. We create our reality by where we place our attention. When we are caught in fear, our attention is out, trying to figure out how to get something or avoid something. And so this is a matter both of awakening to true nature, which we already are, and coming home, which means to live from that space, live from that sense of connection and love. All judgment is self-judgment. That's what is reflected in our childhood wounds. I'm not good enough. I don't matter. They don't love me. They don't care about me, right? The entire movie of this incarnation partakes of all of those self-judgments. But then we see through that distortion lens of our self-judgment, and the best we can do is judge other people to relieve ourselves. Relieve ourselves of the limitation. So that's the Dharma talk for the day.